Welcome guys to this brand new episode of Wout of the World, and this time I'm in the south of France. Way down in the south, because we are in Guadeloupe, on the French Antilles in the Caribbean. But of course the journey started earlier on. From the Dominican Republic we have been hopping islands for months on our way to the south. From Antigua we now fly to island number 12 in just over half an hour. This is Guadeloupe. With 1,600 square kilometers, this is the largest of the French Antilles. And that's why we decided to rent a car and drive to our hotel in Le Gaucher. So we're staying just outside the capital Pointe-à-Pitre in the place called Le Gaucher on the beach. And this is our room of Caribea Hotel. Let's see the view, guys. Let's see the view. And Jens. Whoa. And this hotel is quite special. It is shaped like a boat, but upside down. We are right next to the most beautiful beaches and look out over the turquoise blue Caribbean Sea. Wow guys, this is waking up to a beautiful view. We're just having our breakfast over here, and above the water we got this live entertainment from the Papalapelicanos. While we enjoy an authentic French croissant, the pelicans also seem to look for their breakfast. They are quite busy and we have front row seats to this spectacle. Guadeloupe is a very remarkable island and one of my favorites in the Caribbean, especially because you get the best of everything. Like the best beaches combined with activities, culture, food, volcanoes and even rainforests. If you want it all, this is your best pick. At our hotel, we relax at the pool and prepare to explore this incredible island. Guadeloupe is not just one island, it's actually a group of over 10 islands, of which the biggest are Grande Terre, where we are now with the big hotels, the resorts and the beaches, and Basse Terre, an island full of nature, volcanoes, rainforest, and we're going there today. With this car that we rented at Aluego, so let's cross over that island. Consider that Guadeloupe is part of France and therefore the EU, the roads are very well maintained. Well, okay, most of the times. Welcome to the incredible lush rainforest of Guadeloupe. The biggest part of Basse-Terre consists of the National Park of Guadeloupe, a beautiful jungle with some beautiful waterfalls, like the one behind me. We parked the car and we're gonna make a little hike to the Chutes de Carbet. The Carbet Falls are one of the main attractions of this island, or should I say, 3 of them. The highest one is about 115 meters high, and it's very spectacular to see. However, we don't stay too long, because we immediately experience the tropical weather of Guadeloupe. Wow, that rain was really heavy, but they don't call it a rainforest for nothing. So, we're at a new hiking trail for the Grande Tang, which is a nice lake. Oh! The nature here is overwhelming, and while the park is quite big, you can take short walks to many beautiful places. Once back in Le Gaucher, it is time to visit the beach. And we also get a chance to see how the weather on Grande Terre is very different than on Basse-Terre. Because the sun is shining here. And we can also make a very nice little trip from our beach. Just off the coast lies the beautiful bounty island Îles du Coucher. You can get there by boat, but I'll fly over there with the drone. It's a beautiful day again here in Guadeloupe. We just woke up, grabbed the car, and we're gonna make a little trip along the south coast towards the eastern end. And we begin at La Caravelle. Look at this beach. You understand, this is the best place to fly the drone, right? La Caravelle is one of the most beautiful beaches that you can find in the tourist town of Saint-Anne. The shape of this beach is especially amazing. We are not the only users of this beach. These iguanas turn up everywhere. So far we have already seen how diverse Guadeloupe is, but I'll take you to the most extreme. We go east for the most spectacular landscape in all of the Caribbean. We drove as far as we can possibly drive on Guadeloupe, to the east at Pointe de Château. And the surroundings here are completely different than where we are yesterday. Because yesterday we were in the middle of the jungle, and over here is like a moon landscape, dry rocks and rough sea. I love it. And so Guadeloupe seems like a continent instead of a group of islands. It reminds us of Australia as we watch the wild waves around us. With the drone we can really see what the Pointe de Château looks like. we see all the colors of the rainbow and a bizarre, dramatic location from above. Right at the ultimate cliff there's a famous cross, which is why it's called the point of the church. From this beautiful place we drive back to civilization. Stay tuned to see how the adventure continues. The best part of traveling the world with the three of us is cleaning up the mess in every single room. Especially the mess that Jens made. Hey Jens? So, we're moving on from Guadeloupe to the next island that has even more beautiful nature than this one. Could it possibly be? Yes, because it's Dominica. I'll see you there. I'm really excited because you come to the Caribbean to sail a boat. And this is actually the first time that we're gonna take a boat because the other 5 times was a flight. We're waiting for the boat right now. Yes! Vader Jensie! With Express des Îles, we sail to a very mountainous island in 2 hours and 15 minutes. When you're visiting Dominica, you will see that a lot of accommodation is in the middle of nowhere. But that's pretty nice, because we got a car and we drive up to the Cocoa Cottage for a nice view of the jungle from our cabin. And after our first night, this is what we found. This place looks like Costa Rica, with lush green mountains and a wild jungle, so that you almost forget that you're actually on an island. Oh my God. We slept for 10 hours. We wake up, we hear sounds of the jungle, a waterfall over there, the trees whispering in the middle of the nature. I think I'm gonna just sit here for the whole day. But let's be honest, that would be a shame, because Dominica has so many sights. On this island of 750 square kilometers live about 70,000 people, which makes that 2/3 of it consists of tropical rainforest. The roads are narrow and steep, but all the more adventurous. with amazing views here and there. Just near where we sleep is the valley called Rosso Valley, and in that valley you can see some waterfalls, make some nice hikes, and make one hike through a gorge in the water. It's called T2 Gorge, and it's spectacular, and it was used in Pirates of the Caribbean. So guys, are you ready for some cold water? We're going in the water. We need to wear these life jackets because it's supposed to be very dangerous. Hey Jens? Is it cold? Yeah. Well, for Jens it's a little bit too deep over there, so I'm gonna leave him with Suus, unfortunately, and I'm gonna go in. Let's do it. I'm gonna give you a heads up, guys. This is so freaking awesome.
Whew. It's so freezing cold. Wow.
After a short swim against the current, I see a waterfall at the end of the gorge. In the movie Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest, Will Turner and the pirates are chased by cannibals. They swim through this gorge, and I'm actually almost alone here. Wow, that was freezing cold, but so awesome. T2 Gorge, definitely do it. We continue our way through the green mountains of this mighty, inhospitable island. We believe, by the way, that this is the most beautiful island of the entire Caribbean. And among all that green, we often come across some peculiar animals. Such a green island must get a lot of rain, and that's true. Over here it rains about 200 days a year. And that's of course how you get the most beautiful waterfalls. The driest months are February to May, and we happen to be here in March. So we drove another 15 minutes, and as I told you, there are a lot of nice waterfalls to look at here. And one of them is called, or actually two of them are called, Trafalgar Falls.
Walking away, your words are lost on me. It's taking everything not to turn around. throw it away. See if you'll let go of me when you're not holding me. I can see it now. Hey, when I lose, but if I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm like, oh shit, I've been doing this a long time. Lost in my head, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not gonna lose this. I'm up all day, all night, we playing our last fight. Now in hindsight, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not gonna lose this. Yeah, kinda hate myself sometimes. Everything was on the line, didn't wanna be the
From the most spectacular waterfalls in Dominica, we drive through the natural paradise to Cocoa Cottage to say goodbye.
when I say lose. But if I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. But if I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna
We drive through the cozy and colorful capital, Roseau. The landscape over here is very different but still mountainous. It's a beautiful morning and today we take the car down to the south of Dominica to a place called Scott's Head, a beautiful peninsula. And you can see it over there.
You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me crying over you. You don't want my heart, you don't want my love.
The beaches on Dominica are often not white, but mostly grey and black.
Thinking about you.
The volcanic beaches mainly have lava sand, and a small strip of it runs all the way to the spectacular Scott's Head.
Thinking about thinking about you. Thinking about thinking about you. Thinking about you don't want my heart.
So over here we see that Dominica also has the most beautiful blue water.
Crying over you. You don't want my heart. You don't want my love. You just want me crying over you. And I'm thinking about you. Thinking about thinking about and I'm thinking about you.
In the harbor of the town called Soufrière, we see many birds, including frigate birds and brown pelicans.
Thinking about you. Thinking about
We drive along the coast all the way up to the north, where we stay in the town called Portsmouth.
thinking about
So I can really get used to this view, but let me show you the inside here at the Champs, our own little studio. It's really big and the beds are amazing. Really soft, really soft. I had a good night's sleep here. And the bathroom. Jens, he likes to play with the toilet all the time. Yeah. he's gonna do some vlogging himself. Yay! At the Champs we stay on a mountain with a great view. This is Prince Rupert Bay and you can even spot Guadeloupe there in the background. We have this pool all to ourselves and with the drone we can really see at what kind of a super location we have ended up again. We are looking west, so you can imagine that we will be amazed when the sun goes down. A beautiful new day in Dominica. So today we go to Cabris National Park, the island behind me. And we drive there in 15 minutes. On this cape with the French name La Pointe, there is a large forest with an ancient fortress. Fort Shirley is a British fortress from 1765. It is mainly famous for the slave revolt in 1802. The African slave soldiers fought their way to freedom here. Dominica later became the first British colony with a colored government. In 1978, Dominica became completely independent and is today one of the smallest countries in the world. A little update. I'm starting to feel like a local. We're at a local beach, walking distance. Black sand beaches, which is different because most of the Caribbean we had white sand or golden sand. This is really like black, dark lava beaches. Jens, gaan we zwemmen? Jens, we're going to swim. And this is what you get for being a local in Dominica. We drive on to our third and final stay on the island. And for that we drive straight through the mountainous heart towards the east. And that can easily take more than an hour, but with the views it's no punishment. west coast is even rougher, but we do see this lovely tropical beach called Lalai Beach. At Pagua Bay we then settled down with a great view. We spent a few days in this fairly remote, luxurious resort. There is almost nothing to do here, and we enjoy it to the fullest. It's yet a completely different side of Dominica. From the little town Portsmouth, we drive along the north coast and we end up on the east coast in Marigot. And we stay there in this beautiful hotel located along the coast called Pagua Bay House. And if you see this swimming pool, I don't have to tell you what the key feature is. This is an infinity pool.
Yeah.
And still we have not seen one of the most impressive sights. So we drive there from Pagua Bay. One of the must-sees that we haven't seen yet here in Dominica is the Emerald Pool. In the heart of the country, with a little hike through the jungle, we're gonna see the most beautiful waterfall where you can swim, and it looks like a drawing, so beautiful. Wow guys, the weather is lovely today. And even if it were to rain, we would have
these umbrellas.
take what nature gives you. This looks like the Garden of Eden, and strangely enough, we're all alone. Or are we? Because Jens is spotting new friends everywhere. Time for a dip in the Emerald Pool. And even though it's a bit cold, isn't this what we live for? Our last breakfast here in the Champs in Dominica. And we're going to Martinique. Martinique is the second largest island of the French Antilles and is therefore even part of the EU. The capital is Fort-de-France, a city with a colonial past but now also with about 90,000 inhabitants. To see the entire island of Martinique, we rented a car at local car company La Perle Rent-A-Car. And normally I would go for a four-wheel drive, but it's no need because all the roads here are paved and it's France after all. So a normal car will do. The distances are quite large for a Caribbean island. It takes us about 3 hours from north to south. We start in Les Trois Îles, a tiny town on the peninsula called Diamant. Just across the bay from the capital Fort-de-France is an interesting place ready to explore. This was the birthplace of Josephine, the first wife of Napoleon Bonaparte. And there's a lot of nature and cultural sights to see here. A colonial little town. Many tourists start their adventure here because it's where most of the hotels are, and also a playground for Jens. You can also get to this side by ferry from Fort-de-France. A place you can't skip here on the Diamond Peninsula is La Savana des Enclaves. It's a big outdoor museum with everything about the lives of the former slaves here during the time of the French settlements. Besides a piece of horrific history, this Savana des Enclaves is also a very beautiful botanical garden, and a part of it is based on the indigenous people. A little further down the road we pass a beautiful beach called Îles.
I've been there, but I have to stay afloat. It's noisy. Be a person you don't want. Can somebody take
We
me
drive down
up
to the most southern part of Diamant Peninsula, and over there we can find Plage du Diamant, which is kind of a beach like in Robinson Crusoe or Castaway, just everything you want, nature. And some palm trees, mountains, love it.
I don't know, where's the life at?
Not your typical pearly white beach, but a rough mix of golden and lava sand.
I don't know, I don't wanna grow, just live myself. I don't wanna grow, the things I left behind me. I don't wanna grow, just live myself. I don't wanna grow, the things I left behind me.
A little to the west from Les Trois Îles you will find two beaches where you can snorkel perfectly. They're called Anse du Four and Anse Noire.
Just live my, behind me.
By the way, this is one of your best chances in the entire Caribbean to encounter sea turtles. The first couple of days on Martinique we're staying on the west coast in a little town called Saint-Pierre, which used to be the capital of the entire island. We're in a little hotel called Résidence Roxelle, with a beautiful pool in the middle of the jungle.
Just live my, behind me. Behind me.
Isn't this just the perfect getaway? Tucked away in the jungle, we enjoy the tranquility of this nice little apartment. It seems though that we're not completely alone.
Where's my shy head? Is this called living? Behind, I don't know, where's the life at? Where's my shy head? Is this called
Saint-Pierre is the typical Caribbean town where time has stood still, and we have the beach to ourselves.
Just live myself. I don't wanna grow, the things I left behind me.
Well guys, today I'm literally in cloud 9. I love this island so much and we wanted to see its highest point, Mount Pelée. It's near to Saint-Pierre where we're staying, but unfortunately when we were driving over here, the rain clouds covered the island completely. And that's the weather here, kind of unpredictable. But it gets better in 5 minutes, I'll bet.
Just live my,
The restaurant at the top here is super cozy for when we shelter from the rain. It's called La Refuge d'Aileron.
live my, just live my, behind me. Just live my, just live my, behind me.
We're having the time of our life here on Martinique, and in Saint-Pierre we enjoyed the beach for a couple of days. But now it's time to cross the island straight to the middle of the jungle, because that is Martinique, the jungle. And we stop here at a waterfall called Zot Gendarme. You gotta see this. So on the way we have already seen the lush nature of Martinique. But if you want to see everything in one place, all the flowers and the trees, you have to go to Le Jardin de Balata. It's one of the most beautiful places here on Martinique.
The nature here is almost too beautiful to film, and with a real canopy walk through the treetops we imagine ourselves to be in Costa Rica. It's time to look for the sun. And for that, we have to go to the south.
When you visit the Caribbean, you want to go to the beach. And the most beautiful beaches of Martinique can be found in the south. We drove to Sainte Anne, and over there you can find Plage des Salines, which is the most beautiful one.
All the beaches combined, there is about 3 miles of beautiful white sand next to the bluest ocean. It's the place for the beach lovers. Hey, and there we have some of those beach lovers.
Over on the east side we're staying in a place called Le François in Hotel Plein Soleil. And this is something else. Not only the view on the ocean, but the inside isn't too bad either.
So we started in the northwest, went all the way south and over to the east side. And everywhere we went, the land and the views are a bit different.
Unfortunately, this will be our last night on Martinique, and we sleep here in this tiny little house in the middle of the jungle. I'll see you soon on the next island, Saint Lucia.
So follow us on a big world tour for the whole year, and there is so much more to come.
The first place we are staying here on Saint Lucia is a really special one, because this is Crystal Villas Hotel, where you sleep in 3 houses in the middle of the jungle.
Especially the view on St. Lucia's crown jewels is amazing. Those peaks over there are the pitons.
staying at Crystal's Villa Hotel in the apartment called Silver Palm. And we get this amazing view, but wait till you see the inside.
This luxury villa with a swimming pool is truly a highlight on itself. We didn't expect this in such a remote place in the middle of the jungle. But we want to see a lot more of Saint Lucia, and that's why we rent this blue little monster at Drive-O-Matic.
Today we visit the most beautiful spot in the Soufrière area, and that's the Diamond Botanical Gardens, where you can walk a nature trail towards the Diamond Waterfalls.
In the middle of all that tropical rainforest, this waterfall is picture perfect. The grey water serves as a natural spa, full of minerals. And let's not forget the hummingbirds.
That's one of the advantages, guys, of having a kitchen. I'm cooking, so I'm making some rice, vegetables and chicken from the oven. Woo! Today we spend a day at one of the most beautiful beaches you can find on Saint Lucia, and it's called Anse Chastanet, especially for snorkeling. So let's grab some gear and go.
There's a wonderful Caribbean vibe everywhere we go. The local bar in Soufrière is called Whispers, and it's our regular spot. Even if at night it turns into a disco. We drive a bit further south and sleep in La Fargue.
The pitons are of course the main attraction of Saint Lucia, and everywhere you go you'll see them at the horizon. And one of the best trails you can walk is Tet Paul, a nature trail hike where you get the best views. Let's go! Kijk Jens, dat is mooi.
Stairway to heaven. In total, the hike takes us an hour there and back, and it's a must-do.
Of course, we couldn't possibly skip the most beautiful beach between the two pitons, and it's called Jealousy Plantation Beach, or in short, Sugar Beach, with one of the two pitons on every side.
So now we see the view that we had at Tet Paul from up close. It's so relaxed and insanely beautiful.
When you drive around on Saint Lucia, you'll notice that every side is different and unique in its own way, and so is the south, because we're staying just outside of Vieux Fort in the southernmost point on a peninsula on a big hill where you have a 360 view over the Caribbean Sea. This is Villa Caribbean Dream, where we're staying for the coming nights.
How deep can we go? 'Cause you're pulling me straight down.
This is really a place to get away from the world for a while. The south is more quiet and there's little to no tourism.
To all the pressure. But you know I'm not the same. Say go, we can swim. Lose all we can win. I'm so alive. Baby, it hurts.
It's a beautiful day here on Saint Lucia, and it's time for a little road trip because we exchanged the southern tip for the northern part. And we cross along the east coast to see this beautiful lookout here. This is Dennery Lookout.
Baby, it hurts. There ain't no doubt. I took you in like a child. You had no one else.
Unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and so does our trip here in Saint Lucia. But we have 3 days left and we stay at Bay Gardens Resort here at Rodney Bay in the north side. It's all inclusive, so we're gonna have a fun time and then move on to the next island, Tobago.
Say go, we can swim. Lose all we can win.
But let's enjoy the luxury first. Bay Gardens is one of a few larger resorts, but not nearly as massive as they are in Florida or Mexico, for example. And we are having such a great time.
We already gave in. I'm so alive. Baby, it hurts. There ain't no doubt.
Despite the more touristy side of Rodney Bay, this is also an incredibly beautiful part of the Caribbean. The north almost seems like a different island, but I would certainly recommend to see this side too, for a couple of days.
In between what I want and what you need, I've been caught, baby, yeah. Yeah, I've been caught, acting like I don't care what you want. I've been caught, acting like sink or can swim, lose or can win. I'm so alive.
Let's meet again soon for more adventure on the island of Tobago. And don't forget to like and follow us around the world. Ciao!
Forget up the earth. We are